Hardest puzzle in the world, more like easiest puzzle in the world. 350 ELO, and I found this in 10 seconds. My man just put laugh emojis. Just laughing at me. Bro, you are so annoying. Stop acting like a 2010 YouTuber. The man called me PewDiePie. Is this guy being serious? They think this is troll content. Oh, this is the worst. Yeah, it's very, 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 very easy. In case someone thought it was just 3 varies, it's 4 very easy. I'm seeing your comments, guys. All right, okay, if you could do this, comment easy. This episode is so difficult. Here's today's rating. Here's today's pass rate. If 3 of us were in a room, I know I can't get it. I know for sure your ass can't get it. This is the real pass rate. Okay, so instant thoughts. Board position is we're down a rook, so we're either fighting for a draw or looking for some form of tactical advantage. We know that there's a knight here that might pick up a rook, and our bishop's also aiming at the king and the queen. The opponent's threat, of course, is a mate in 1, so if we are going to do anything, it has to be with checks. So the checks we have available are a knight check in either direction, but of course, because there's a mate looming, we can't really pick up the rook on the next move, and this check on f3 doesn't really do anything after the king goes to f2. Well, I guess there is one final check. Let's have a look at what this bishop check might do. Well, if the bishop takes the pawn, then the next move you might see is queen to c2. And if the opponent's going to be resilient, they're going to move to e3. Can you spot the move after that, just visually? And if I know your level, guys, I know that you spotted that knight to f5 is checkmate. So we know that the king can't take back, but is this bishop move still any good? Well, suppose that the king does go to f2. Remember, we still have to be delivering checks. So what's the next check that we can deliver? So you're either calculating bishop to e1 or bishop to e3. Well, bishop e1 would just get eaten up by the rook, and bishop e3 still walks into the king. Well, we're not exactly spoiled for choice, so let's actually calculate if the bishop goes to e3 and the king were to take back. Well, given we're now just throwing loads of pieces at the king, there are loads of checks on at the moment. We can play either knight to c2, we can play a few queen checks, or we could even take the pawn on f4. Tell me, chat, in your infinite wisdom, which one would you go for? Now, to those of you who said pawn to f4, you're bang on, but why is that? Well, when the queen takes back, because we've just taken with the pawn on the e-file, our e-file is now open for a check with the rook. Well, the queen's not going to block, of course, and if the king were to go to d2, then it would be mate on c2 with the queen. So the king is forced to go to f2. Now, where do we go from here? In this position, our only check is queen c2, so let's try that. Well, let's count the squares again, and now that we can see that the queen is holding off the entirety of the second file, a knight check would force the queen to trade. We would then take back with the bishop, and that would end our sequence. Now, none of those moves could be played unless you saw bishop takes d2 on the very first move. So if you truly got that, I know you're going to comment it anyway, but comment easy in the chat. I'll see you guys tomorrow for a 4,000 rated puzzle.